Hello, everyone. Time for another round of Bible trivia. But before we get to that, I got to share some lameness with you. Got to put in those dad jokes or lame jokes or laffy taffy jokes, whatever you want to call them. Okay, our first one is this. What do you do with a sick boat? What do you do with a sick boat? Well, you take it to the dock, of course. Hey, you want to hear a joke about construction? Never mind, I'm still working on it. Oh boy. All right, let's go ahead and get started into our Bible trivia. We'll start with question number 1. On his second missionary journey, where did Paul go after leaving Athens? Was it Corinth, Sparta, or Ephesus? Acts 18:1 tells us that it was Corinth. Number 2, while in Corinth, what godly couple did Paul stay with? Was it Ananias and Sapphira, Chuza and Jonah, or Aquila and Priscilla? Aquila and Priscilla. Acts 18, verse 2-3 tells us that the answer is Aquila and Priscilla. Number 3, who was the emperor who evicted all Jews from Rome, resulting in Aquila and Priscilla going to Corinth? Was it Caligula, Claudius, or Julius? Acts 18, verse number 2 tells us that it was Claudius. Number 4, which disciple joined Paul in Corinth? Was it James and Peter, Barnabas and Silas, or Silas and Timothy? Acts 18, verse number 5 tells us that the answer is Silas and Timothy. Number 5, when the angry Jews of Corinth took Paul to court, who was the proconsul of the area who refused to get involved with religious issues? Was it Galileo, Lysis, or Gaius? Acts 18, verse 12 through 15 tells us that it was Galileo. Here's your bonus question. How long had Paul spent in Corinth? How long had Paul spent in Corinth? Acts 18, verse 11 tells us that he was there for a year and a half. All right, let's move on to our next set of questions. Number 1, at the end of Paul's first missionary journey, who did the church in Jerusalem send back to Antioch with Paul and Barnabas? Was it Judas and Silas, Silas and Luke, or Silas and John Mark? Acts 15, verse 22 tells us it was Judas and Silas. Number 2, when Paul and Barnabas were discussing a second missionary journey, who did Barnabas want to have accompany them? Was it Peter, John Mark, or James? Acts 15, verse 36 through 37 tells us the answer is John Mark. Why did Paul refuse to let John Mark join them? He fought with the others, his theology was wrong, or he had deserted them before. Acts 15, verse 34 tells us that Acts 15, verse 38, not 34, tells us the answer is he had deserted them before. Number 4, when Paul and Barnabas parted company, where did Barnabas, joined by John Mark, sail to? So where did they sail to? Was it Cyprus, Crete, or Rhodes? Acts 15, verse 39 tells us that it was Cyprus that they went to. Number 5, who accompanied Paul on his second missionary journey? Was it John Mark, Silas, or Barnabas? Acts 15, verse 40 tells us it was Silas. And here's your bonus question, the final one. Who joined Paul and Silas on their journey? Who joined Paul and Silas on their journey? Acts 16, verses 1 through 3 tells us that it was Timothy. All right, I hope you did well. Let me know how you did down in the comments. I think there was a few kind of ones that maybe were kind of challenging, but I bet you probably did really well on this particular round of Bible trivia. See you next time.